pledge loans, because a lot of people do not know how to choose a pledge loan, right? And so what I mean by that, a lot of people, when they hear pledge loan, they only think of like Navy Federal. However, there are other institutions that offer the pledge loan. As a matter of fact, they're non-geo-restricted as well, and they're open to everybody. That's what non-geo-restricted means. So here's the interesting thing about it. Like I said, a lot of people, they don't even know how to choose a pledge loan, right? They know about the pledge loan hack where you put money on an account and then you pay 80 to 90% of it down, and for your credit score to go up. However, there's more to it, and I'm going to explain that to you. Here's the situation. When you're looking for a pledge loan, you want to target the easiest banks, okay? Or the easiest credit unions, banks or credit unions. And so the easiest banks and credit unions you want to get a pledge loan with is ones that more likely are going to use a Vantage 3 or Vantage 4 scoring model or FICO 9 scoring model. And the reason is because you have the most leverage. And so what I mean by the most leverage is that when you add on like extra trade lines, like when you add on authorized users rental history and stuff, subscriptions, that's not going to be counted against you, okay? And so I have some of the credit unions I'm going to be telling you about, but like I said, you want to make sure that you're looking for an institution that's okay if you're in check systems or early warning systems, if you're recently coming out of a bankruptcy, because all credit unions and banks, certain ones, if you're not out of a bankruptcy over a year, then they won't allow you to even get a secured product with them. So that's the reason why I'm telling you that, okay? Now, the reason that people would get the pledge loan, and this is for even a person with an 800 credit score, and you were like, why would they need a pledge loan? Well, again, the relationship, building that relationship. So most people get the pledge loan to help increase the credit score, but not looking at beyond that. One is going to also add on a primary, plus number two is the relationship. So you got the score increase, the relationship, and giving you a primary. All right. Now here's the thing about it with a lot of these. Secured loans, okay, or pledge loans, is that you usually want to wait after 91 days before you do anything with them, right? Before you apply for any of their products and stuff. 91 days, all right? That's including with Navy Federal. Now, here's a hack that most people don't even know about. When you open up a pledge loan, sometimes they will allow you to add somebody else onto that loan as well when you open it. So I know Navy Federal does it. And the reason you want to do that, especially like if you have a spouse or you have a kid and you're trying to help build up their credit, you want to make sure that they're added onto that pledge loan as well, because it's going to help their credit score and help them build that relationship with that institution. Okay, so that's a little hack that most people are not even aware of. Now, like I said, you know about Navy Federal pledge loan, all right? And so here's the thing about it. They're going to look at your TransUnion FICO 9 scoring. But here's a bank, okay? And the bank is with BMO, okay? So BMO, the reason they are on the list is because they use a Vantage 4 scoring model, TransUnion, right? That's huge for a bank. Now, again, with BMO, they are one of those banks that are kind of check systems, early warning systems sensitive. However, they use a Vantage 4 So that's where you can get some leverage with them. So if you're not in check system or the early warning system, that's definitely an option for you, okay? Then you have like Wave Federal Credit Union, okay? So with Wave Federal Credit Union, you also looking at an Experian Vantage Score model as well. Then you have PenFed. So PenFed, here's the thing about it with PenFed that people are not understanding. With the credit cards, PenFed uses Equifax FICO 9. With the loans, they use Experian FICO 9, okay? And so sometimes people would look at their Equifax, and then you may have a higher Equifax FICO 9, but then your Experian FICO 9. So when you apply for that loan with PenFed and you get denied, it's because they're not pulling from the same thing. All right. Now, one of the best things about these here credit unions, once you establish the relationship, most of us know that you not only can apply for like loans as well as lines of credit and credit cards and auto loans as well, right? So you're able to do more with that hard inquiry once you get into the institution. Now, here's the thing about it, like with some of these here credit unions, with the pledge loan, secured loan, the reason why you want them with them, like with DCU. Now, here's the hack with DCU. With DCU, they use Equifax 5, right? So if you have a pledge loan with them, all right, once you have direct deposit with them for 90 days, they'll give you $1,000 loan with no credit check, right? Then if it's 6 months, they give you $2,000. But here's the best part about it with DCU. If you get qualified for a regular personal loan, then you don't have to make a payment for 90 days. You don't have to make a payment for 90 days on their personal loans. Even like with the pledge loan, when you open it up, you don't have to make a payment for 60 days. Excuse me, it's 60 days, not 90 days. The 90 days, because I'm looking and thinking about State Department Federal Credit Union, okay? Because State Department Federal Credit Union, they're the ones that pull Experian, and they will give you the personal loan once you build a relationship with them for 90 days. DCU is 60 days. So you have more leveraging power with them. Then, talking about Vantage Score again, you have BCU, Baxter Credit Union, okay? Now, here's the power with them because they're TransUnion Vantage 3, okay? The leveraging with them is that they also have the 0% interest on the credit cards, right? So this is also giving you leverage. And remember, like I said, because when you have that pledge loan with them, I would also encourage you to set up the checking account and the savings account with them as well. Again, because they are Vantage 3, you're going to have more leverage with them that way. Then you also have NASA, okay? So with NASA Federal Credit Union, here's the thing about it. They use Experian Vantage 4 as well, all right? And so that's giving you more leverage too. Now, one credit union that I'm finna tell you guys about that I'm always excited about is DOC Federal Credit Union, Department of Commerce Credit Union, right? And so on their website, you won't see it on their website that they offer secured loans. The reason you want the secured loan with them is because in your first 90 days, even with bad credit, and you have deposit with them, they'll give you up to $2,000, right? Now, it gets better with them because after 6 months, they'll give you a $5,000 loan with no hard pull on the credit. So they don't even check the credit for those type of loans. So those are your emergency loans with them. I think that they're probably one of my most favorite credit union. Then you have Randolph Brook. Oh, by the way, Department of Commerce Credit Union, they pull Equifax. Now, you have Randolph Brooks Credit Union. they use Experian Vantage 4 as well. Okay, so that's the reason why I'm telling you, like a lot of people, when they're looking for a pledge loan, if they don't get into Navy Federal, they'll go get one of these credit builders. Choose the pledge loan or the secured loan over the credit builder. Those are your stronger primaries, and the banks will actually give you more funding because you're actually showing that you can actually manage credit that way. When you have those credit builders on your credit file, okay, those are showing low tier. There is going to end up like a very low tier. They'll continue giving you like 300, 500, but not when you have like the pledge loans or you have the secured CDs. So you always want to choose those CDs or pledge loans over those credit builders, okay, like Kickoff or something like that. All right, so I hope this video helps you. If you have any questions about business credit funding, personal credit funding, removing negative items off the credit, click the link in the description. Schedule a one-on-one consultation. Thank you.